Thank you, Reverend Cheryl. It's always an honor to introduce the speaker today. For the years that she's been through the chapel and the development that she's gone through, and I know the words that she's going to say are going to ignite that in you. Rev Marsha.
Thank you, Reverend David, and thank you, Reverend Cheryl, for that wonderful meditation.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The topic that I've chosen for today is to explore two of the mind powers, will and zeal. And when I decided on this topic, I kind of got stumped, and I didn't know how I was going to approach it, and what would I have to say. And then I remembered something that Reverend David asked me in a class many years ago. Sometimes he would ask me, how did you learn to define that word? And so I decided to look at will and zeal a little bit differently. So starting with will, if you define the word will as a noun, will is the faculty by which a person decides on and initiates action. If you define will as a verb, will is the intent or desire or a wish for something to happen in the future. Zeal is a great energy or enthusiasm in pursuit of a cause or an action. So the mind powers of will and zeal, they go hand in hand. I would describe the two together as the action within you combined with the enthusiasm and energy that you need to manifest that action. The will, the action of God, is within you. And zeal, when activated within you, gives you the enthusiasm to bring that action to creation, to reap the harvest. One of the things that we learn as metaphysicians is to take responsibility for ourselves. We take responsibility for our own lives. If God is in all living things and God is in you, then God's will in your life is your responsibility. The mind power of will is within you, and the zeal, the enthusiasm to manifest your will, is within you as well. Will is the action within us, and we also know that we take action through the people, places, and things that we interact with in our lives. Through those people, places, and things, we will our lives into being. Inaction is actually also an action. People sometimes do nothing, and when nothing happens, they say, it's God's will. Well, yeah. Nothing is what they created. You're choosing your will with every action or inaction and the enthusiasm that you place on manifesting that action or inaction. No matter how long I've been studying the metaphysical principles, I constantly have to remind myself to take a step back and look at my own situations in life from a different perspective in order to ignite healing. Have you ever had someone or a situation in your life that just irritates you and irritates you? People play a huge part in our day-to-day experience. And one of the questions that you could ask of yourself is this: how do you react to the people in your life? Becoming aware of your reaction to the people that you're connected to in your life is actually a type of measurement as to how you're doing within yourself. When I first started studying the metaphysical principles here at the chapel, I remember hearing that as metaphysicians, we take responsibility for our own lives. And if you're having a negative reaction to something or somebody, then you need to look within yourself to ignite healing for that situation. I remember thinking at that time about someone that was in my life that was really irritating me a lot. And I remember thinking back then that these metaphysical principles, they work some of the time. But there's other times that the other person is just downright wrong. So why would I need to be looking inside of myself and doing healing when it's that person that's doing all these irritating things and needs to be healing themselves? Well, I remember being told, just keep focusing on the opposite of the effect that I was having. And at some point, I had created something that was irritating within myself. Some aspect of myself needed to focus on peace. Quite honestly, I didn't believe that focusing on myself would make any difference. And I knew that this person was too important in my life to simply eliminate from my life. So I decided, okay, I'll go ahead and I'll give these metaphysical principles a try. And at that point, it was almost a decision that I was making to prove that the principles just don't work sometimes. So I started focusing on peace. And at the times that I would catch myself getting irritated, I would say within myself, I'm at peace with myself, and I'm at peace with you. And I can't tell you that on a particular day, some miraculous change happened, but over a period of time, I started to notice that even though this other person didn't change, my reaction did. And I wasn't irritated with this person any longer. There really was something in myself that became more peaceful, and I had actually created a wonderful gift within myself. I also found that it was easier to set up boundaries for myself, just small changes here and there that kept me from placing myself in situations that I found to be irritating. The good thing about this also is that since I've already been through a situation like that before, and I already know that the metaphysical principles, the law of cause and effect, are always alive and active, I have the capacity to heal my reaction by moving forward with wise thought, word, and action. So I have the opportunity to heal a situation now faster than I was able to before. If you want to change a habit, plant a seed, a thought, a word, and then an action with the enthusiasm that you need. That's the opposite of what you've been doing. And keep focusing on that new seed to create a new habit. What I encourage you to do is always be willing and have the enthusiasm to go beyond in your thinking. We can go beyond what we know now to bring peace and balance and harmony into our lives. When we bring more peace and balance and harmony into our own lives, there's a ripple effect. And on the other hand, when we continue to be irritated or not at ease within ourselves, then we create a ripple effect from that as well. It's very much worth the effort to look inside of yourself for the answers to your own peace and well-being. So when you're acting upon a change in your life, the more you understand the tools available within you to create that change, the tools that are an integral part of your being, the more balanced and harmonious you can be in your life. I can tell you that even though I know that I may have some irritations to work on at different times, I mean, who doesn't have some kind of stuff going on in their lives? We all have something going on. Some are really, really big challenges and some are small. But they're all challenges that we can learn to handle a little bit better and with a little bit more ease than when we really understand and utilize that light of God, those mind powers that are within us, that are a divine part of us. I wish I could tell you that I miraculously am totally at peace with everything that goes on in life. but I can't. It takes effort. But at least I've become aware of what my thoughts are. I've become aware of what my words are. I've become aware of what my actions are. And I make adjustments accordingly. I can't control what anyone else is going to think, say, or do. I can only control those things within myself. And that's where all of our mind powers are. They're within us. And they're always alive and active. How and what we focus our thoughts, words, and actions on is up to us. Where do we place our enthusiasm? You might be wondering, but how can someone change what they're thinking? So many people say that thoughts are not under anyone's control. But I've learned for myself just how powerful becoming aware of your thoughts can be. What you're thinking can carry forward through the words that you speak and can carry forward in the actions that you take. So changing your thought patterns is a very, very powerful thing to do. One night I was having dinner out with some friends, and it was really nice and the food was great. And I decided that I wanted some dessert, but I knew that desserts are really huge at this restaurant, and all I wanted was a small dessert to share with everybody. So I went ahead and ordered the dessert, figuring that everyone would share a little bit of it. I just wished that they had a smaller portion so that it wouldn't go to waste. So it took a while for the dessert to be brought to the table, and we were surprised that the owner of the restaurant brought it instead of the server. And he was apologizing to us that the dessert that I had selected was nearly gone that night, and they only had a half portion available. So he offered us the smaller portion they had available and took the charge off of our bill. I was really happy. It was a perfect amount for all of us to share and not to have to waste a larger portion. And plus, we got the dessert for free. Well, one of our friends started telling us that every time they go to that restaurant, the order gets messed up. And even tonight, they messed up on the dessert. Well, we all had exactly as much as we wanted, and the dessert was delicious. And I felt like we had been given the gift of exactly what we wanted. And yet another person at the table thought that we were victims of an incompetent restaurant. Same situation, different perspective. One person blessed and another irritated and disappointed. Become aware of how you're focusing your mind powers of will and zeal, how you're focusing your actions and enthusiasm. We're in a very powerful time. I see it as a powerful time of change, a tipping point. And I know that people have so many opportunities to create with love, compassion, peace, and harmony, to create a more peaceful and harmonious world. At the same time, there are a lot of people exhibiting extreme fear about the uncertainty of what's coming for the future. There's one thing that's constant in life, and that's change. We're having a class coming up. We're always changing. We're either getting better and better at doing what we've always done, or we get better at doing something different. Pay attention to what it is that you're focusing your enthusiasm on. Pay attention to the random thoughts that are going through your mind. Pay attention to the words that you speak, where you choose to go, and who you're spending your time and energy with. If you pay attention to those things, you may find that you're using your thoughts, words, and actions with wisdom and discernment, with kindness and compassion towards yourself as well as towards others. If you find that your thoughts, words, and actions are focused on goals that are happy and healthy and are promoting the wealth necessary to sustain your happiness and health, then keep doing what you're doing. The world needs more people who are doing just that. If you find that you're placing too much of your time and energy on thoughts that are the opposite of what you really want for yourself and the world around you, then figure out what it is you really do want. If you're having trouble figuring out how to replace the troubling thoughts in your head, try writing some of them down on a piece of paper. Focus your question on what the opposite of that troubling thought would be. Pay attention to your own ideas as to what a healthier way of thinking would be, and write that down. You can create your own affirmations, and you would be amazed at how powerful changing even one thought pattern can be. When your thoughts are focused on love, compassion, peace, harmony, and forgiveness for yourself and for others, you start noticing love, compassion, peace, harmony, and forgiveness all around you. Gandhi encouraged people to be the peace you want to see in the world. Now that's something to be enthusiastic about. Peace begins with your own thoughts, words, and actions. Ignite the peace within you. God bless you.
Thank you, Rev Marsha. You know, Rev Marsha started her development here at the self-realization class. And look what she got to.
I
Thank
took
you.
it several times.
Yeah.